Well, then there's the bad news that has happened. Most recently, Shock G, the co-founder of Digital Underground, died at age 57. This one hit me more so than the DMX and Black Rob.
Really?
Because I'm from the Bay.
Right.
And these guys were hometown heroes. Like, I remember when the Do What You Like video dropped. And it was like, I was in high school, I think. And it was just like, yo, who are these guys? They're Bay Area guys. This is before Tupac was in the group and everything. And then Humpty Dance came out.
The Humpty Dance was a big part of my childhood.
Right. But by the time the Humpty Dance came out, like, everyone in the Bay already knew about Digital Underground. It's like, okay, y'all are getting on it late. We've been on this. And then, they dropped classic albums. I mean, in fact, Tupac's first hit song, I Get Around, was actually a Digital Underground song.
Oh, wow. I did not know
He asked for that song for his second album. Because think about it. It's Tupac, Shock G, and Money B.
Right.
It's really Digital Underground's main two rappers on it.
I was talking about that song the other day because I was saying that I always loved the lyric, what's he say? The weekends was made for Michelob.
It's a Friday, my day,
right.
So just let me kick it.
But I remember listening to that lyric when I was a kid, and I did not know that Michelob was a brand of beer, which when I said this on the podcast the other day, I realized that my co-host also did not know that. That always just stood out to me as like a fairly beautiful lyric. I know that wasn't even his lyric, right? It was the other guy on the song.
It was Money B, yeah.
Right, but that's my main memories of learning about Digital Underground when I was a kid and shit was that song, that Tupac song, and then the Humpty Dance, and sort of having because to me it was like unthinkable that the guy from the Humpty Dance had songs with Tupac. I was like, young kid. It's like hard to bridge those worlds.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, like, people look at Tupac and say, oh, yeah, Tupac's one of the greatest ever. He would have made it regardless. But what you have to understand is that Tupac's first album didn't really do anything. It didn't really have, the first song, Trap, didn't do nothing. When My Homies Called, didn't do nothing. Brenda's Got a Baby did a little something, right. But it was more of like a kind of an underground kind of song. And then his second album came out, and I Get Around was the first hit song that Tupac had. That was the song that got radio play and was played in the clubs and everything else like that. You could really say if it wasn't for that song, Tupac may have just, drifted off and, his career would have just ended, or he just would have been an underground rapper.
Right.
You don't know. You could say, oh, he would have made it regardless, but you don't know.
Right.
If you don't get that hit over the top that everyone starts to focus on you after that, it doesn't matter how good the music is. If no one's paying attention, you're just an underground rapper. And yeah, man, we had tried for years to try to get a Shock G interview.
Oh, really? He wasn't interested, or?
I think he may have responded once and said, oh, yeah, hit me later in the year or something. We always try to say, like a lot of people can, whenever someone passed away, they're like, oh, yeah, you always say you had an interview planned with them. We didn't have an interview planned with them. I've been trying to get one. And, man, such a loss, 57 years old.
That's a shame.
And this really happened like in threes. It was like Digital Underground, Shock G died, and then right before that, Black Rob dies at 51, and then right before that, DMX dies at 50. I'm 47. That shit kind of freaked me out a little bit. When you saw all three of those deaths happen, what did you think?
I guess I really hadn't been aware of what the fuck Black Rob had been up to for many, many years, I remember, DMX, listened to him a shitload when I was like 14, 98, 99, that area, we listened to DMX a lot. Black Rob obviously had a couple songs that we were going crazy for at that time. I don't know. I mean, there is an extent to which with DMX that it seemed like, no disrespect, he had been living so crazy for so long that you were kind of almost surprised, like to me, when I think about my days partying, if I had kept doing that until I was 50 years old, like, I don't know, it just seems really hard to like do serious drugs and keep going as a grown ass man. And I don't know, like DMX being able to live like he was living for all those years, if anything, I think he got a lot of fucking years in there. And I saw a clip where Irv Gotti saying that, or I didn't actually even see the clip. I saw the headline, but he's saying that there was fentanyl in the drugs.
Yeah. That was it had been posted and then it got taken down.
Oh, so we don't know if that's true?
Well, it was posted.
Okay.
Now, whether it's true or not, who knows? How much does Deserve Gotti know about the situation?
Yeah.
I mean, probably a lot.
Mm.
I mean, at one point, DMX, Ja Rule, and Jay-Z were supposed to have a group called Murder Inc.
I remember, yeah.
You know, Irv Gotti was a very central person at Def Jam during DMX's heyday.
Mm.
So obviously he's very much in the mix.
Yeah.
I was talking very closely with DMX's right-hand man, like literally every day.
Mm.
And we don't quite know what happened that led up to the heart attack. We don't know, you know, from what I understand, he was upstairs. A bunch of his family were downstairs. They heard a loud bang. They went upstairs and he was unconscious. He had a heart attack, and it was a while. I think it was like 30 minutes before they were able to get him revived somewhat. And then he was essentially brain dead at that point.
Yeah.
And DMX had underlying conditions. And when he got to the hospital, he tested positive for COVID.
Mm.
People were trying to say he had taken the vaccine recently. I hadn't heard that. But he did test positive for COVID, which made it difficult for family members to even see him in the hospital room because of, you know, the COVID regulations at a hospital.
Right.
And 50 years of hard living,
Yeah.
of in and out of rehab, but trying to make it work. And from what I heard, the reason why he had gained so much weight at the end is because he had gotten clean around 6 months ago.
Right.
Whether or not he had a relapse at the end, I don't know.
Yeah,
He was trying.
I remember he was clean for a while because there's a guy who does PR for him or whatever, and he was telling me that he was trying to line up the interview and everything, and I'd been kind of overwhelmed when I heard that because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, it's a lot of pressure to think of what you're going to talk to DMX about, you know? And but then I think he told me like a week later he relapsed, like, you know, not sure it's going to happen right now. And so, I was kind of getting a little bit of updates on his condition because at one point they were trying to place him for an interview. But, that's terrible, man.